Hey guys, it's me Lachlan. I'm here today with a brand new video, and today we're jumping into a very interesting and very awesome discussion. It's something I'm really enthusiastic about, and that is of course the Battlefield Hardline DLC wishlist. And that's what you guys wanted to see in Battlefield Hardline. And you guys have been getting at me a lot recently, from PlayStation messages, from Reddit, from Twitter, asking me general questions about Hardline DLC. Now the fact is, at the moment we have literally no idea what the standing is with DLC, whether or not it's under construction, whether or not it's been completed, whether or not a premium system will exist or we'll see something different. But it's something I'm definitely going to be asking Steve Paputis whenever I get the chance to in the future. Now, there's been lots of suggestions about DLC, but today I'm going to be going through a personal / fan favourite list that you guys came with to me through Reddit, through PlayStation, and I gotta admit guys, your ideas were insane, and I really like the idea and direction that this is heading in. So, like I mentioned in all of my videos about Hardline, this game is going to be crafted around us. The developers are really paying attention, so before we get into the list, make sure you write down that comment section below what it is you want to see in DLC. Let these guys know, because at the end of the day, they're going to be the guys crafting your game, and at the moment Visceral are doing an incredibly good job of taking in fan feedback, so this is your opportunity to voice your opinion to them and towards the overall Battlefield internet community. So yeah, thanks for doing that. So let's get into this list, and I was incredibly encouraged and incredibly surprised by some of the responses that I got about this list. And initially I thought I was going to get the, oh, we want militarized police, we want the National Guard, that kind of thing, that kind of Battlefield 4-esque military style going on. But instead, I was given a completely different answer. Now, lots of people quoted out to me that Battlefield 4 progressively got less interesting because the DLC at the end was just basically new maps and new guns, but essentially were the same thing that they were doing before in just slightly newer and slightly different environments, which is fair enough to point out. And then Final Stand, which is the last DLC, is the only real ambitious DLC, which shakes things up and gives us a different theme, and lots of people seem to appreciate and enjoy that. So the message I got from you guys through PlayStation, Reddit, emails, YouTube messages, you name it, was the idea to be ambitious and be unconventional. Now, Visceral as a whole, with Hardline, is ambitious and unconventional. It's a completely different spin-off to Battlefield as a whole. So why not make sure that the DLC follows suit in that kind of manner? And I didn't really expect this, but lots of people really wanted it, and it kind of just sort of went on in my mind. I was like, yes, this would work. So I'm going to go through the two suggestions which I got given and sort of evolved into like a massive idea that could potentially happen. But one thing we have to bear in mind with these themed DLCs is that something could potentially be in the way, you know, massive ask of Visceral to say new character models, new maps and all this other stuff as well. But I think if they managed to pull it off, they would impress many people. So the first idea I was handed was a 1930s gangster DLC, and I kind of thought about this for a while, and it made so much sense. Look at the kind of films, iconic films about this sort of 1930s gangster area. The Godfather, Scarface, Goodfellas, you know, it's all there. And of course we have iconic people as well, for example, Al Capone, Bonnie and Clyde. Really fits in with the cops and criminals theme, but at the same time gives us a really good gesture and a really good idea of something that's really different and diverse. So what was the idea I started listing down? Now the first idea came to character models, and that was just to think of the idea in clothing that people would be wearing. And of course, suits. It's all down to suits. Police officers will be wearing suits with badges, the thugs and criminals will be wearing suits with red ties and black bowler hats and all these things that are really iconic about the films that we see about the 1930s sort of era. And then there were guns, and it was really obvious what kind of guns we were going to see. We have the Smith & Wesson MP38, the iconic Thompson 45, or as you guys would know, the Tommy gun, or the iconic original nickel-plated Colt 1911, which was basically a massive weapon at the time. There were also the vehicles to play around with, and of course the 1928 Cadillac Town Sedan, Al Capone, the original mobster, basically one of the most famous mobsters around. That was his baseline vehicle. The Ford Model 18 of Bonnie and Clyde, the ideas just progressively get better. And lots of people mention to me very sort of LA Noire-esque ideas, have these sort of dark, nighttime, gloomy settings outside theatres and bars, just like the sort of original movies that we see around these times. Have them really embezzled into the idea of the 1930s. Don't even think about the rest of the game. Just throw them in to this area, throw them into the 1930s feel of things, throw them into old movie theaters and Tommy guns and Ford Model 18s. That would be insane, and lots of people would really enjoy that. And it was just one idea that I was given, which was a bit, sort of out there, but feels as though if it was successfully done, people would be impressed and people would enjoy it. And the second one is slightly less ambitious, but in a similar way is very much Battlefield ambitious. So the second idea which was given to me, which you can see in the thumbnail, was a Vegas DLC. We're talking a full Vegas casino style DLC, James Bond Casino Royale idea, theme. That was the entire plotline that people had given to me. Now, I based it off of the consensus of Close Quarters from Battlefield 3, the idea that we'd have this insane sort of setting which was going to get destroyed and ripped to pieces through micro-levolution, poker chips flying everywhere, cards flying everywhere, plant pots and neon lights and water fountains being destroyed. That was the idea behind this DLC that I was given. Now, the first thing that came to mind to me was just Hardline as a whole and how it operates, and of course the police versus robbers theme is definitely the most prevalent thing you have to think about when you go into DLC ideas. Now, to me, having a Vegas DLC would make sense. You've got these tall tower buildings, hotel settings, casino settings, nightclub settings to play around with, rappelling into a hotel in the middle of the night or in the middle of the day, and then breaching a building with shotguns and PDWs. That seems insane to me, and it fits with some of their modes as well, such as the hostage situation mode, which we could see utilized in that kind of environment. But to me, it was all about the setting for the Vegas DLC, and the flashing lights with neon colors really appeals to me. It's something about Vegas which people see as prevalent and really important about the area itself. But just imagine that in the Battlefield theme, getting shot to pieces with full-blown M104 shotguns and everything. And it even fits in with a lot of the themes that we're seeing in Hardline at the time. Now, right now we're seeing sort of a diverse color palette. We're seeing this LA-esque sort of style being implemented in the first few maps that we've played, and I really like that. But I feel as though if we threw 32 or 64 players into a casino, turned on some neon lights and let them go to town on each other, I think that would create a very epic DLC, and it would fit so well with some of the modes that they've already announced. That's what's really key about it. Another thing for me as well about the Vegas DLC idea was just how far it could develop as a theme for Hardline. Instead of doing these really drab and really boring, okay, we're going to give you a new DLC with new maps and, maybe one mode and a couple of weapons for you to use, and it's going to be kind of boring after a month, but, separate a player base and divide a player base because some of them won't have it. Give us a setting which people will want. People don't really want Battlefield DLCs right now if they're not a real sort of core player to the series, because they don't just seem that interesting. Whereas if you gave them a 1930s or Vegas DLC, they'd look at that and they think, okay, that is crazy cool. So this was the idea that was given to me, the ambitious idea, the whole lock, stock and two smoking barrels idea, which really kind of fits my name, which is kind of weird, but still, it was the idea I liked, and it was the idea I feel as though lots of people are going to echo over the coming weeks, and hopefully we can get this spoken about a lot more. So make sure, guys, comment section below, let me know your thoughts and feelings. Do you want to see this kind of cool Goodfellas American gangster themes and LA, and you just go wild with it. Let your imagination roll through. Think of anything. Imagine anything that's completely outside the box and pitch it in the comment section below. It's been me, Lachlan, guys. Thank you for watching. I'll see you again in another Battlefield Hardline video very soon.